Hey guys, good day to you. Today our topic is on the question of MRTA versus MLTA. So just a brief introduction about myself. My name is Keith. I actually started my experience in this industry since 2015. So these are the list of services that I do provide. All right, moving on. What is MRTA and MLTA itself? So when you are securing a housing loan today, you come across these two insurance being offered by the banks or even for insurance agent. There will be many terminology used. Some you may have heard like CLTA, MLTT, and etc. But these are the two basic forms. So the first one, MRTA, it means for mortgage reducing term assurance, whereas MLTA is on mortgage level term assurance. So firstly, what is MRTA? Basically, this chart shows that over time, as your loan actually pays down over the years, let's say your loan is up to 35 years, the MRTA coverage also reduces according to your tenure. All right. Okay, so what is MLTA? Basically, MLTA maintains a constant coverage over the years. Some could be, sometimes could be also increasing, depends on the type of MLTA that you bought. Whereas over the years, as your loan reduces, it will still remain constant as what the chart shows. So what is the main difference? All right, so in these two comparisons itself, first we look into the protection type, where we have the death and disability only for MRTA, and for MLTA you can actually add on for critical illness. We also have the protection sum, which for MRTA reduces over time, whereas MLTA maintains the same coverage. Now, third one is on transferability. All right, MRTA is normally tied to the bank's loan. So normally you will be asked to take an extra financing with the bank where your loan will incur extra loan amount, which will also incur interest because you're borrowing money from the bank to pay for the insurance. Whereas for MLTA, normally the bank do also can sell you MLTA where you also finance it with the loan, or you can actually buy it with the insurance company directly. So nomination wise, for MRTA, the beneficiary is normally the bank, whereas MLTA, you can actually nominate your beneficiary where your beneficiary will receive the money instead, and they can actually choose to continue to pay the loan installment, or they can actually pay off the outstanding loan balance. Financing wise, as I mentioned earlier, is financed by the bank, whereas MLTA can be self-financed where you pay monthly or yearly by yourself. So payment mode wise is for MRTA is actually paid based on a lump sum borrowed from the bank, whereas for MLTA you can actually choose based on a periodic like monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, and annually payment. Cash value, all right. For MRTA wise, the refund is based on the unutilized premium, which means to say that if let's say your loan is 35 years and you decided to pay off your housing loan on the 10th year, or maybe choose to refinance the property, they will actually refund you based on the amount that you borrowed to bought this MRTA initially with the bank. They'll refund it partially back to you. But of course, if you hold the loan until it's 35 years or your maximum tenure, then the MRTA has zero cash value. That means it's totally gone. There's no refund. Whereas the MLTA itself depends on the investment return. So let's say over the years you have hold for 10 to 20 years, then you will actually get the investment value at that period of time. Moving on. So let's look into the premium comparison between MRTA and MLTA. We look into this subject of a male, 35 years old, non-smoker, and working as an exec. He takes a loan of $500,000 for 35 years based on interest of 4.5%. For MRTA, the lump sum premium is about 38,825 ringgit, which will be around monthly 183 ringgit and 74 cents based on a 35 years tenure. For the interest of 4.5%, assuming he took for the next 20 years, the interest incurred will be 29,000 ringgit. So if this person chooses to surrender the MRTA by selling the property on the 20th year, he will get back about 22,408 ringgit. So let's look into the value loss in this premium. He would have gotten back about 22,408 ringgit, but let's not forget that the value that he took for the MRTA originally was 38,825. So the net loss from there is 16,417 ringgit, and you have to minus the interest incurred for 20 years, which is 29,292, which results to a value loss of 45,709 ringgit. Whereas for MLTA itself, the premium incurred will be 3,500 yearly, where the monthly premium is about 291 ringgit, and there is no interest incurred since MLTA was self-funded. So the total premium will be based on 3,500 multiplied by 20 years will result to 70,000 ringgit, and if he chooses to surrender on the 20th year, he will have gotten somewhere around 64,000 ringgit. So in terms of his return is somewhere around 92%, whereby he has paid 70,000 over the next 20 years, but if he chooses to surrender, he gets back at least 64,000 ringgit. So side-by-side comparison on a payout benefit. So we look into the slide here. You can actually tell that there is no surplus being paid for MRTA at the right hand side, whereas for MLTA at the left hand side, if death were to occur somewhere in the middle, there will be a surplus paid to your family, and on top of that, the balance is used to pay off the outstanding loan. All right. So question 1, I am a property investor. I do not need MRTA or MLTA. Alright, it's great to hear that you would like to maximize your profit by making your investment in property, but it's never a good idea to actually save in your mortgage insurance. We do not know when we actually fall sick, or we may fall into disability or even death itself. Assuming we went on without MRTA or MLTA, firstly, death. The banks will require you to continue to pay off the loan, or the property will be auctioned off should the amount is insufficient to pay off after the auction. The bank can proceed to go after your estate to repay off the bank debt. All right. Secondly, if disability or critical illness happens, we may be rendered unable to work for a period of time, or maybe permanently unable to work, or even generate an income. How are we supposed to continue to pay off the debts? We may argue that we can get the property to be tenanted so that it will be paid by itself. But what if you can't find tenant for a certain period of time? We may also argue that we can sell off the property in order to fund for the treatment. What if the property can't be sold at the right price? If we need the money desperately, won't you think that we will want to sell the property at a cheaper price so that we can quickly get the money to use? Question 2. I have personal insurance to cover the mortgage. It's normally not a good idea to use your personal insurance to cover your mortgage plus your own personal living expenses, because in any event, you were to use the payout of your personal insurance for your mortgage, then there's nothing really left to use for your living expenses, especially even for your dependent when you're no longer around. Which is why it's always best to consider your other debts separately as an add-on on top of your personal insurance coverage, and not to overlap them for multi-purposes, although it may look very convenient to do so. Alright, so that's the end of the presentation. Of course, if you have question and feedback, you can leave it in this video's comment, and I look forward to answer your questions. And should you have any query, you can always drop a message in here. All right, so I'll see you in the next question.